Okay, we're back on. I am not going to try to screen record because that seemed to mess things up. Welcome back. Sorry, guys. Hey, Broadway Bunny, Tori, Rachel, Shoshana, welcome back. Disco Rose, Abigail, Schmitch. Thanks, girl. Appreciate that. Screen recording just doesn't want to work for me. It just doesn't want to work for me. I feel like it works better for younger people. I think I'm just too old for it. All right. Thank you, Broadway Media. I've tried that too. I just have not had luck. My friend Shoshana has been helping me out immensely. I'm just trying to save her from that task. So, all right. Okay. Hi. I was trying to screen record, and I think that just was like one too many things for it to handle. So I'm not going to do that anymore. Sorry about that.
No,
welcome.
Thank you.
So let me just introduce us. So I'm Dr. Alisa Hurwitz. I'm a clinical psychologist by day. And then outside of that day job, I'm Dr. Drama. I write and lecture and talk and interview about the intersection of psychology and theater. And my guest today is Courtney Mack from Six. And I'm so happy to have you on today. Thank you so much for saying yes to joining me.
Thanks for having me. It gives me something to do.
I know, right? It's like you know, you have this 45 minutes schedule. It's like, you know, it helps with the rest of the day.
No, I was looking forward to it because I'm like, oh, I get to talk to somebody that's not my family.
I know the circle gets so small, and you know, are you an extrovert?
Introvert.
You are, okay, but it's like it's too much introverting.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend and I was like, I love being an introvert. I love being home on my couch. But if people tell me that I have to stay on my couch, I don't like that.
Yes, I totally get that. People are saying that you're a queen and they love you, so you're getting the love already. And I just want to say to people who haven't joined one of these before, oh, hi, Broadway Broads, please post your comments and questions below, and we're going to have a conversation, and your questions will be part of that. So how are you doing?
I'm okay, I think.
Yeah.
I think this week is better than last week, so.
It's a roller coaster.
It's totally a roller coaster. I feel like last week I had my little mental breakdown, and then I am doing good, starting off the week good. Trying to keep up a routine so I don't go psycho.
Yeah. It's so hard. It's so hard without routine, right? And
yeah.
like as an actor, you're used to being between gigs, but between gigs, and correct me if I'm wrong, includes auditioning in person, right?
Yep.
Doing projects in person, performing,
Yep.
you know, maybe cabarets in person.
Yep.
And even that's all not happening.
No.
So this isn't like being between gigs.
No. There's really nothing to do. I feel like my life, this is like a over dramatic way of putting it, but I feel like it's meaningless now because we don't get to do what we do.
Right.
And I feel like when I was in New York, we were only there for 3 months, and I feel like I found a nice routine towards the week of our opening. I was working out every morning, eating good, and going to theater, and then that all just went to hell.
Like really dramatically on
Yeah.
your opening night.
Yeah.
Right.
It was weird. And then also like my relationships are weird because you go from, because I was living by myself, and then you go back home, and my boyfriend and I were from the same hometown, so I get to see him all the time, which is weird. I see parents all the time, which is weird. So it's a transition for sure.
Yeah, it's just all, it sounds like it's all foreign. You were
Yeah.
just getting into a new routine with kind of the new city and, and knowing that, or assuming you were going to be planted there for a while,
Yeah.
right? Foreseeable future. And then it just didn't go according to any plans.
It almost feels like it didn't even happen. We
Yeah,
were there for a short period of time and we were so busy, so we didn't really get to
yeah.
see New York. We didn't really get to explore. It was just six. Um, so I feel like it, but I know it happened because have an apartment. So
Right.
yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah. Um, and then, you have that build up to opening night, which is such a grand tradition in the theater community, and we rely on these traditions and rituals to kind of ground us. And then you didn't even get that.
No,
It's just like paused. It's what they call it an intermission, right?
yeah,
But it does make it seem so much more like it's a balloon like floating off in the air rather than something that's grounded
yeah.
and real. Yeah. Um,
We were all hoping that we would have gotten. We were like, oh, why couldn't they just waited one day and we could have just had our opening and just gotten over that hump? But
I know.
I
I
feel like
know.
it'll be 10 times more uh, special when we come back.
It's gonna be bananas in Brooks Atkinson when you guys go back.
Crazy.
Yeah. All of these things, like every show that didn't happen, that couldn't happen, it's like gonna be all that energy like added up, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Coming at you from the audience. People are going to, I think, we. So I don't think we take it for granted, but that need to be in community with each other is it's so human. We've been doing it since the dawn of civilization, and to be limited in our ability to do that right now by necessity. But we have to, but to not be able to do that right now, especially for us, us theater people, like it's just we miss it.
Yeah. I mean, I miss like being able to um like feel the audience's energy
Yeah.
because that's what sparked each show every night. And like just the joy on people's faces it brought it that's what made me super happy. And
Hmm.
now I mean people still love the show and people still reach out and they're like, hi, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is so nice, but it's a lot different now.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, that your show in particular invites that energy to come, right? From the opening of the show, right?
Yeah.
And, I think I mean, there's so many reasons why the show I think has resonated with people, but I think because people are the audience is so clearly invited into the party or to the experience, it's because that fourth wall is broken down in a really
They're a
great.
part of the show.
Yeah, yeah. Gosh, there's so many questions coming in. Let me see if I can pull one of these up. Okay, Broadway Bean is asking, how are you staying healthy in quarantine?
Well,
Hmm.
um I haven't been doing very good at that. I'm a snacker, so can't I can't just have a couple chips. I need to eat the whole bag. Um, but no, I've been trying. Part of my routine is I make sure that I work out sometime before 12. Um, and I take my dog for a walk. I'm because I'm in Wisconsin, back home in Wisconsin. I we live in the country, so it's nice. There's not a lot of people, so I can go outside and walk around. And I feel bad for the people that don't have that, but
Yeah, you wouldn't have that in New York.
no, not
Yeah,
at all.
no.
Not. But yeah, I've been trying to do that, and I've been doing a lot of cooking and baking, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Broadway Broad Squad said, "Eat the whole bag, girl. Sorry, not sorry."
not sorry. Eat it like it's my business.
Yeah. Um, Lucy Webster asked, "What is it like to be part of the Queendom?"
Um, you know, it's kind of surreal. It's when I joined, I didn't, it was just weird. I mean, I've never had um that kind of reaction from fans before, um, which was awesome. And like, I've never had fans be so nice and inviting, and not that I've had that many fans, let's be real. But um yeah. No, and I think it's amazing to be a part of something that is so new and now and speaks volumes on just women in general. It's a whole women show, and even the
Yep.
band, which I don't think that that's happened in years. Or
Yeah.
I think there's maybe been only one other show, but that was short lived. But yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Um, I I have a question for you, and I don't know. I've thought about like the structure of it, right? It's part of the. So many things are so smart about this show,
Yeah.
and the structure is part of it. And your song, "All You Want to Do," I think is so interesting because so there's this, there's the opening song. Everybody has their individual song. In the middle, there's House of Paul Vine, right? To like, it's kind of like the like palate cleanser, and it's not until your song, which is the fifth, right? The fifth individual to sing.
For
You're the fifth
Howard,
wife.
yeah, it's the
Yeah,
fifth one.
yeah, and it's the first song where there is an actual arc in the song. So she actually like changes by the end of the song from where she was at the beginning, which I think sets up the last wife to change for all of them.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I just want to know your thoughts on that. Like, have you thought about like how do you take that arc that you have in the song and what that means as the whole of the show, in the whole of the show?
Well, I think Kay Howard, I think off the bat, just with her story and uh, her whole life, I think off the bat, she wins the competition. There's no competition, obviously, but
Yeah.
she really did have it the worst in life. And I think her song is just her going through her whole life. It starts off with her being super naive and her um, having these men tell her that, oh, I love you so much and let me touch you and all that gross stuff. Um,
Mhm.
uh, but she was a kid, she was naive. And then um, that was her only sense of like, that's what she knew.
Yeah.
Um, and then, she finally got over that hump and um, became a lady in waiting. And that was like the highest place for her to be. And it brought such, um, I don't know the word.
Yeah.
She just was lifted to a whole nother level, her and her family.
Yeah.
And then she just found out that it's the same with Henry and with Thomas. It's the same no matter what. They just want one thing. And I think that really devastated her. So I think the song, I feel like she knows she's going to win the competition because her life sucked. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it does make like a beautiful arc of
Hmm.
the story. And I totally forgot the original question. I'm sorry.
No, that was pretty much just kind of your experience of that arc, in the song, and then and that kind of um, setting up. Oh God, I'm blanking on who's his sixth wife. Is it
Par.
what?
Par.
Parr. Sorry, Catherine. Yeah, Catherine Parr. The Catherines, that throws me off.
There's a lot.
Yeah, I need to read my history books, but Catherine Parr. Then it seems like you set up Catherine, you change in your song to then set up Catherine to change, have that epiphany for all of you to then all change. I just think that's so interesting structurally. Um, that you change within your song to set up the change for all of them.
Hmm.
Yeah, so many things about our so smart. I've said this before because I have on here. I have because I have spoken to your fellow queens, Abby and Brittany,
Yeah.
and talked a little bit about this. How I love, and I know this appeals to a lot of people. That it really is a feminist retelling of history, and that everybody on the stage is a woman. I brought my daughters, and they're young, so the sexual stuff goes over their completely over their head. Um, they're 5 and 7. They don't even get that part, but they get the story. And they get that they're seeing all women on stage, and they get that they are, these women are finding their voices and owning their voices. And, and that not only did they have a good time and the songs are fantastic and it's like a really digestible bite, right? 75 minutes.
Yeah.
But also like, then we go afterwards and we talk about like, did you notice that it's only girls on stage? And they talk about their husband, but we never see him. What do you think about that? Like, isn't it kind of cool that it's all girls on stage? And how many shows can you say that about? I don't, none,
No.
right?
I mean, it's definitely, I think this show opened up at like the most perfect time with the Me Too movement, and it's just full of women empowerment. Like
Mm-hmm.
at the end, it's not a competition. It's women um, lifting each other up and
Mm-hmm.
supporting one another.
Mm-hmm. Adjusting each other's crowns,
Yeah.
right? I have some questions here. Let me pull one of these up. Any hobbies you've developed during quarantine?
My boyfriend and I play a lot of cribbage.
Nice.
It's helping me with counting. It's not my strong suit. No, I think we play a lot of games, and um, this wasn't a hobby that I just started, but I like to knit. So I'm in the process of knitting a baby sweater for my nephew.
Oh,
Um,
nice. How old is he?
he's almost like 1.5. So,
Nice.
and he's
It's a fun
already
age.
uh, like 2T, 3T.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
he's gonna be a big boy, but
That's
he's
awesome.
so cute. Um, but yeah, I knitting and baking. I've been doing a lot of baking.
Nice.
Out.
Oh, I love this question. I would love to take this one next because it just popped up and I think it's great. Maddie Klineman, I don't know if I said that right. 134. Do you think a non-binary or trans femme or trans masculine person could fill the same role of a six queen?
Yeah, why not?
I think that would be so interesting.
I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah. And I
I,
think it's fun for like cisgender guys to sing the songs. I just think that the performance of the show is just belongs to anybody but cisgender guys.
yeah,
That's just my take. I don't know. You weren't asking my opinion
yeah.
in that question, but yeah, I think that would be so cool.
No, I think it'd be awesome.
Broadway Media asked favorite part about performing at the ART. Saw Courtney 2 times and loved every moment.
Oh, um, that well, Boston was awesome, or Cambridge, I should say, Cambridge. That was just such like I loved walking to and from the theater. Um,
And the ART is right by Harvard, if people don't know, and I mean,
it's
it's a gorgeous
beautiful.
part of the city. Yeah.
I loved my like walk to and from. It was so nice. Um, and we got to like explore Boston a little bit too, which was fun. Because I've never been.
Oh,
That was my first time there. Um,
nice.
but I think I loved the energy that we got. I think Boston and Chicago were my favorite spots, just because
Mm-hmm.
the fans were so great. Not saying that the fans uh, aren't great everywhere else, but um, I don't know. It was just kind of special. And I also loved the schedule because we had 2 shows on Wednesday and 2 shows on Saturday. So we had
Mm-hmm.
a little break on Sunday night, which we usually don't get.
Oh, would they have a 5 show weekend in the other places?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay.
And on Broadway,
Wow.
that's the schedule too. We have a show Friday and then 2 Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. If for folks who haven't been to the American Repertory Theater, it is one of the country's great. What's the word? I have perpetual mommy brain, so I just like forget words left and right. Not residential theaters. Anyway,
Regional?
thank you. Boom. Regional theaters, Queens helping Queens. It's one of the nation's great regional theaters. So many great productions that have gone on to Broadway have come from there. The Gershwin's Porgy and Bess with Audra McDonald, the revival of Pippin. Six went through there, although of course Six has had a lot of iterations prior to that. Waitress came from the ART, and I think it's 505 seats or 510 seats, something like that, and it is such a perfect spot. Like you don't feel far away as an audience member from anywhere. And they will transform that space for every show. They're not afraid to do that. But this was, proscenium. And it's like, a show like that rocks so much. You're so in it. You feel every beat and every guitar riff and every Jagged Little Pill. Yeah, Jagged Little Pill came from ART too. I think the size of it is perfection. I think that's part of why you guys probably feel it so much. But it's like a history town too, and it's a musical about history.
Yeah.
It's gonna get those theater nerds worked up.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I love this show is definitely aimed towards, I think, more intimate theaters, which is, I love RT, and I think also the Brooks is also super intimate too, which is nice, and I think that helps.
Yeah, I love the Brooks. I kind of love too that it's female history, following female history there, right? So it was Waitress was in there before you guys with an all-female creative team, which was also Broadway history, and now an all-female, cast and band, which is also herstory as well. So I kind of love that it was a handoff like that.
Yeah,
that feels very, very right.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. Here's the next question. Broadway love. How do you deal with show stress and life stress?
Oh God.
That's a big question.
I think show stress, I usually vent to my family or my boyfriend. Otherwise, I just work out. That seems to get a lot of stress out. I got in the habit of doing yoga every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Not now, obviously, but when I was in New York, I would do it every morning just to wake my body up, take nice deep breaths, and kind of get my mind in a positive space.
Mm-hmm.
But there were moments, there was one rehearsal that us alternates had, or us understudies we had, where I was really getting stressed out because we were starting to incorporate the other roles that we are covering. And for some reason, I was just super stressed out and had a nice little cry, and I was fine.
Yeah. Sometimes it just all builds up and you just have to let it out.
Yeah.
Right?
And that was the day I was doing the track of Jane Seymour. So I was like, oh my God.
Which is intense to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Off the bat.
Yeah. I was talking to Abby about that on when she was a guest, about also that turn that you have to make playing that role, that you have to process your death, your child's death, and then go right into House of Paul Vine.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a 180-degree turn.
When we were at the Ordway in Minnesota, we played a little game. I don't know if you want to call it a game or not, but I just kind of spoke the words to the associate director and the choreographer, and I was just bawling. And then you had people walking in and out of the room, and it was so awkward. And
Oh no.
Why are you in here?
Oh, well, I mean, rehearsal space, it's kind of a sacred space. And I'm saying this as somebody who has been kind of an outsider insider in that space, as consulting on shows, where I kind of get invited in to be part of it, but it feels like, okay, it, this ha so correct me if I'm wrong, because like I said, I'm kind of coming as an outsider, but it has to feel like a safe space to be able to go there. It has to feel safe with your castmates, and it has to feel safe, even like doors being closed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there were moments when we, during the rehearsal process, where people would come in to watch, and obviously that's their job, but it would always feel so strange and like, oh my God, I feel stressed out, and like that whatever would start to seep in because we aren't comfortable with them, but
Yeah.
and we were also not at the place to feel comfortable with the show,
Mm.
because we were still working on changes and adapting to that. So if we feel insecure about stuff, then it's going to show probably 10 times more if we have new people and it's not a safe space.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the therapy room. I've made this analogy before,
Yeah.
right? There has to be boundaries and rules around it,
Yeah.
so that it can feel safe to go there and explore, the
Mhm.
places that you go emotionally in therapy or in rehearsal.
100%.
Yeah. Um, there's a lot of people on here when you were talking about playing Jane Seymour saying that they can't wait to see you, Jane, and hear you sing Heart of Stone.
Yeah,
It's a great song. Every one of those songs is a bop.
I know. It's just such a good show.
It really is.
Or everything about it.
Yeah. Um, I mean, it's so, I mean, we could go on and on about it, but I don't mind, singing its praises, so to speak, because it really is a smart show. And as somebody who consumes a lot of theater, um, that I'm kind of coming from that lucky place of, being able to say it is truly one of the greatest shows I've seen in recent memory.
Yeah. And
I
it's
Yeah.
so nice that, I mean, there's been a lot of like uh, talk of people remaking movies into musicals, and sometimes they don't turn out to be the best. Um, but sometimes they're hits, and that's
Yep.
awesome. But
Yep.
I think we haven't had a whole lot of new works come in that is just so powerful and that are just like hits right off the bat.
And it's speaking to young people too, which is
Yeah.
is right, right. Because um, part of the problem with Broadway as a kind of consumer industry is that it is a monetary access issue, and it does, a lot of times speak to old white people, and this show speaks to young people from diverse backgrounds, and that's great because it shouldn't just be for old white people. Not that there's anything wrong with old white people, but it shouldn't only speak to them, right? I mean, I know that I've learned that there are a lot of young people who know about it from TikTok because it's
Yeah.
like a hip talk,
Yeah.
right? So it's in the young people's language.
Yes. And I think the show, I think it's I think everybody resonates with it. I think if even like old white dudes like they get something out of it. And I think you learn something from the show, you enjoy the show, you can sing along with the show. Like I think it's a good, I mean, yeah, like you're totally right. I think it totally resonates with the younger crowds, but I think it's
Mhm.
everybody can take from it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I get to belong to the younger crowd anymore. I'm 40, but I mean, I love it. I'm
It's
40 and proud of it because I've earned every one of those years. But
uh,
I'm 40, love it.
yeah.
And we sing a lot in our house. I'll have to send you video of my kids singing six. It's
Oh,
hysterical.
yeah.
um,
It really
yeah.
speaks to everybody, I think.
Yeah. I wonder if guys watching it, because there's not somebody that looks like them on the stage, but I wonder if they watch it and wonder how they've affected women. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, there's yeah. When I was
Especially your song, right?
yeah, yeah. I was thinking of some moments in Cambridge actually that, you know, people laugh and I
Mm.
could hear men laughing. And, you know, laughter, I know for me, I'm an uncomfortable laugher, so I'll
Yeah.
just laugh. Um, but you know, part of it is, are they actually learning something from this, or are they laughing because they're uncomfortable with what's happening and they
Yeah.
understand, or are they laughing because they actually think it's funny? Like, I don't know.
How does that feel as Catherine Howard hearing that laughter?
Oh, it makes me mad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
me, me as Courtney, it makes me mad. But I
yeah,
think as playing Catherine Howard, I think it just adds to that moment. Um, and
mm,
it makes it so much more like you're defeated. Because at the
yeah.
end, just defeated.
She is. That
She's
last gasp, it's like a
done
knife
like
to the heart.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, right. So it just it's kind of more of the same
Mm-hmm.
to hear that. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, we have a guy's voice here, talking about watching it as a guy. I like this comment. As a proud teenager, gay guy, I take away from the show looking up to these queens as icons and role models. Um, so
Aw.
that's yeah, and there. I mean, there's definitely. I mean, I have some friends who are gay guys and who who love the show too. There is something about the term queendom, even in popular culture, doesn't just mean people who have royalty, right? It means
Right.
drag queens. It means being fabulous, right? It means owning yourself. And so I think there is something. I love that he made that comment because I think it is probably speaking to a lot of young gay guys who feel like they can own themselves by seeing themselves reflected on stage in these queens.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And we've had a few people come in drag and their costumes are so good. Like
Oh,
I cannot tell you, they're amazing.
that was so brilliant. Did you at gosh, at Broadway Con when you guys did the sing along and
Mm,
nobody knew you guys were coming? That first of all, that I heard about that. That was awesome. But there were some people there in cosplay and six cosplay also that was just like phenomenal.
they make such good costumes.
Yeah,
Like they could be costumers. Yeah, it
yeah,
blows my mind.
yeah. Yeah. One of them, the one this year for the costume, which is actually a professional car. So she
Oh,
has the
really?
goods. All
Oh,
right, let's
nice.
see. Getting to play.
Oh no, I think it stopped a little bit. What was the question?
Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
It was how do you? The person was asking how do you recommend getting to Broadway? We're a little delayed here. Um, they were asking how do you get to your recommendation for being a professional actor?
I don't know. Um, I feel like I was extremely lucky. Um, my grandpa, he always says, luck has nothing to do with it. It's because you worked hard. So, but I also feel like I got super lucky and I hit the jackpot. Um, I think in my career, I think I climbed a ladder. And I think each one of us actors, we have our own specific ladder that we have to climb. Um, and they don't all look the same. It's not one going all the way up. Sometimes it's, you know, you're going side to side, and but I think I did the storefront theater and got paid for like $200 of 3 months, and you know, worked my way up. And
Yeah.
I think it's I think a lot of it is right place, right time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was in the right place at the right time, and it just kind of worked out. And oh, what's that phrase? Like, if you will it into existence, if you keep talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always told myself I'm not going to leave Chicago unless I had a job to go to in New York. And that happened. And other things have happened like that too, where I've, said, oh, this is going to happen, or I'm going to do this or whatever. And it's happened. So
Mm-hmm.
I think never giving up too is a big one. If that's
Mm-hmm.
the career that you want, you can't give up.
Yeah. There's that saying of, luck is really preparation meeting opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to be ready for it. We have another man chiming in here about the show, and I want to get to this comment. It's really valuable as well. Guy talking here, as a trans guy, I'm constantly told I'm not proud of being born a woman, which I just have to say, and I know you know this, already probably, but that is, that's ridiculous, right? Because that's not what the issue is. It's still amazing to watch, because people like me still feel like we don't have the same rights as normal, quote unquote, normal men or cisgender men, which is true. That's what we still need to. People who are cisgender, I would encourage us to use our privilege to stand and be allies with the trans community, because the rights aren't the same, and are being, even the rights that are there are being threatened to be taken away. And so I think that idea of like being oppressed probably really resonates. These women being oppressed and disenfranchised probably really resonates with a trans guy watching the show. That aspect of it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, let's see what other questions we have here. Media said, because of the inspiration the Queens gave me, I'll be going to college next year to study theater management and directing.
Yay.
Awesome. Congratulations. I wanted to also return to what you were saying about working out, because this is a really important piece of information that is kind of a surprise to a lot of people, that regular exercise is as effective as medication in managing depression. And everybody's kind of, what they need, to take care of their mental health is a different mix. But on a neurological level, it's as effective. And so, if you are not in a severe or moderate depression where you kind of can't get out of your own way, adding in some kind of exercise is something really good you can do for your mental wellness. I know for me, I try to always practice what I preach. And so after my work day, I go run, and it's how I get rid of the stress. And it's so good. It's my sanity, for sure. And it's a really powerful thing we can do. Our bodies were made to be active, and so our kind of homeostasis is to be really active, not to be as sedentary as our lives are these days.
100%. I think for me, if I don't work out, I become a very angry person. And if I don't get my workout in, which is like the one thing that I've yeah, I have other things that I do throughout my day, but working out is the main focus throughout my day, the thing that I want to do constant. So if I don't do that, then I feel not great at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. It's like the proof is in the pudding, right? um, let's see. We've got another question in the queue here. Let me take a look at it. Let's see. All right, this is a good kind of process question. How do you separate different tracks?
Um, very carefully. No, I, I really have to think of Catherine Howard. I have to think of Boleyn, Seymour, all of them as different shows because they kind if I let one of the other ones in, then I get super confused and I'd probably go to the wrong spot and I'd hit one of the other girls and it'd just be a mess. So for me, if I like differentiating Howard and Boleyn, I'll run through my Howard track separately and then I'll run through my Boleyn track, run through Seymour, and then so on.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's about doing and it's about, you know, being able to do it on stage too. I think that's super helpful. And we were like right at the start of, you know, starting to work on all the other queens and really get those solidified too. But yeah.
But it's intermission.
Yeah, mission.
Yeah. There was a question earlier. I don't know if you feel like you have something to kind of share to this question, but somebody asked a very personal question about to her about Abigail saying that she's bi and she to figure out when the time is to come out. And then there in the thread was a lot of really beautiful responses from people about doing it when it basically doing it, you know, come out when you feel right. Do you have anything that you would like to add to that?
Yeah, I would say, well, exactly that. Come out when you feel it's right. Um, I I feel as though you'd also be surprised too if you when you do the support and love that you'll receive. Um, even though it is such a scary thing to, you know, to bring out.
Yep.
But there's always love and support there waiting for you.
Yep. Yep. And if it doesn't, the love and support doesn't come from the people who you hope it comes from, you find the people who do.
Yeah.
Because those people are there. And like everyone was saying, come out when it's right for you. And also, you know, there are those major coming out, you know, experiences, you know, with family members, close friends. But it's really a process for your whole life, because people may assume, you know, that you are heterosexual, or make other, you know, assumptions. And so it's a process that does continue your whole life, and it's up to you. You get to control who you choose to share that information with or not,
Yeah.
because it's, you know, it's your information. Um, let's take maybe one more question. Um, okay, there was a few Heather's questions, so let's get a Heather's question. And Broadway Love asked, what
Uh, Heather's was one of my favorite shows to do besides Six.
yeah.
Um, I think that's one of the other shows that speaks volumes, and I don't think it got enough praise.
Yeah.
Because I think, I mean, you know, we all went to high school. We all seen, you know, a Heather Chandler. We've seen a Martha. We've seen the the Jockey Boys. We've all seen the different stereotypes.
Yeah.
And I think that hit home for me because I've experienced my own stuff in high school and that was the first lead out of college that I had ever gotten and we had such an amazing cast and yeah, it was really I missed that show the most. Out of all the shows
Yeah.
I've done, I missed that one the most.
Yeah, I agree with you. That one didn't really get kind of get its due. I mean, it's a cult favorite. So
Yeah.
among people, some people, it definitely is a hit, but it kind of didn't get all the love I think that it deserved for its smart writing and insight.
Yeah.
Um, so so to kind of bring this all together before we say goodbye, I think some of the themes of our discussion today were um, and just I think how important it is to to have female voices truly represented, not like not there's anything wrong with it, but like not. I'm just thinking of some particular shows of like archetypal female characters written by men and directed by men. Um, to have female characters on stage written by women. Um, mostly creative female identifying creative teams telling the stories of these women. I think that's really important. That that representation and those voices are really important. That Six is an important show because it is resonating so strongly with so many people. And it's so cool to see something that has a Broadway show that has, another one, which doesn't happen often, that has come into the popular culture, and youth culture, and has really broken into that that area of popular culture as well, which is just really cool. It's so cool to see young people excited about theater. Like that makes me so happy.
I know.
Right?
And it's not, it's like it's also like a new genre of show, musical.
Yeah.
Which is great, I think.
Oh, I do too. I love theater that surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
And I did myself a favor and did not listen to the cast album before I went to see the show, except for the opening number, to just get like a flavor of it. And it was like a ride. I was like totally surprised by the ride that I went on, and I loved every moment. I call it the most fun 75 minutes you will ever have in a theater, but it's fun with meat to the bone.
Yeah.
Right.
And my favorite part is like being able to see the smiling faces of people just walking down the street, because we kind of sneak out right as the show's getting done, and so I can like hear people behind me while I'm walking home, and they're just loving it.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be a pretty big grump to sit through that show and then be like, meh.
Yeah.
Like, it moves you, and that's what music is meant to. Right? Music is meant to move you, and it accomplishes that 100% because of the way it's written, because of the way it's directed, because of the way it's choreographed, and because of the performances that you guys give. That really just it hits people with enthusiasm and heart and female empowerment. It really just accomplishes that goal, and you guys really finish that piece by, I think, bringing your heart to the performances and the queendom, that sisterhood, also to your performances.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you so much for saying yes and for joining me today, and to everybody who joined us to be part of this conversation, ask questions, make comments. Thank you thank you for supporting each other in the comments. I loved seeing that. That's very queendom of everybody to do that. And if they want to find you on social media, where can they find you?
I'm Courtney P. or thinking of my email, Courtney P. Mack.
Yes, on the things, and I'm at the Dr. Drama. If you would like to join me at my next mental health series live, we'll have Joelle Blackman on Wednesday at 2 Eastern. She plays one of the Fates in Hadestown, the contralto. She is phenomenal, so I'm really excited to talk with her next. Courtney, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, stay safe, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.